What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Crime Center. I want to invite y'all to kick back, listen to the story I got to tell you. Today is going to be one of the prison stories. I apologize to all my followers and people who have looked at my videos before for not making a video in a while. Like I said in the short that I made not too long ago, I got into an accident. Been going to the chiropractor, trying to juggle that with work. And it was just, it was a little hectic, a little hard. I only got like an appointment left, so that's about done with. I'm feeling a lot better. So thank you for being patient. Here comes another video. So again, thank you for coming to my channel. I really appreciate that more than you can know. I've always been passionate about doing videos and having the world see them. And I finally get to do that. And it's a bonus if I get a huge following and people actually like my videos. I do this more because I love it. And I do it for y'all. So, thank you. So, today's video is going to be about some crazy things that happened when I first got locked up, my first day. So that way, if anybody's out there messing up or thinking about messing up and think that prison's not going to affect you, it is. And it sucks. It sucks really bad. But stay to the end for some really amazing news. Pretty sure y'all will like it. So, first day of prison. I was at the Garza East, and you're doing intake all day when you first get there. I had come straight from the county. I had heard a whole bunch of stories, a whole bunch of war stories, like that we like to call them. A lot of them weren't true, but a lot of them were. And my cousins and them that I had, they're in a, I want to say gang. It's more like, don't really want to say mafia either. It's one of the big family gangs. And they had already been to prison 4 or 5 times each, and they were trying to tell me a lot of stuff. And some of the things they would tell me, they would start laughing about it. So I didn't know if it was true or not. So I go to Garza East. I'm doing the intake process. I thought it was going to be an in and out, go to my cell. It took almost all day. We get there super early in the morning. You get off the bus, it's still dark outside. Then they put you inside of a gym. In the gym, they go through all of your stuff. They give you your clothes that you're going to have, that you're assigned to. They're going to wait so that way they can figure out what cell to put you in. All that kind of stuff that they do when you first get locked up. So later on that day, probably around 3 in the afternoon, like I said, there all day, I finally got called to go to my cell, go to my dorm. Because these were dorms, these were not individual cells like some of the prisons that I've been in. But I was nervous. My very first time in prison, don't know what to expect. Have all these different stories running through my mind. What am I gonna do in this situation? What should I do in that situation? I wasn't scared, but I was nervous. I think it was because of the unknown. So I grabbed my mat, all my stuff I got, follow the guard down to the dorm. They throw me in there, tell me what bunk I'm assigned to. I go and I put all my stuff on there. I don't even get to get it situated. I literally just put it on the top bunk, and my people were already right there, asking me all kinds of questions. Where are you from? What you in here for? How old are you? Who do you run with? Just all different kinds of stuff. Like, it's just something that's going to happen. And it's just something everybody has to deal with. That's white, Mexican, black, Asian, whoever, right? So I tell them all the stuff that they want to know. And they're like, okay, people from your city are over here, and go holla at them. Go over there and I talk to them. They find out where I'm from. We sit there and talk for a little bit. Oh, I used to be over here on this street and this street. And man, I always used to go to this place. And I used to be like, yeah, me too, right? You know, you're just sitting there and you're talking and just chopping it up for a little bit. So after that, they're like, all right, well, you know, first coming in, you're from the city. We got to make sure that you ain't no punk, that if something happens, you know, you're going to be down for all the Mexicans, and we're going to, you know, in case there's race riots, whatever. You got to be a solid one. They want to know if you're solid or not. So they give you what's called a quota check, a heart check. Usually you're going to go against 2-3 different guys. I went against 2 from your city or your race, however it is decided, depending on your situation. And you go at it. You fight. You're not expected to win unless you really got hands like that, but the majority of the time you're not expected to win. You're just expected to fight back, give it your all, go in hard. So we go over to one of the corners where the guards can't see. There's no cameras, and you put your back up against the wall, or I mean literally not against the wall. There's one guy with his back against the wall, one guy on the other side, so they're blocking both ways that you could get out of there. They got you sandwiched in there and they go at it. You start getting beat up. So after that, depending on how you handled yourself, they'll shake hands, dap you up, whatever. And so you're good. You've passed that little part of what everybody has to do. So now everybody knows that you're not a punk. You're going to fight. That you're going to hold your own. And everybody knows because, you know, inside prison, people are nosy. And they'll try to act like they're not paying attention, but damn near everybody in that dorm is watching that fight. Everybody wants to know what you're made of. Because if you were to go in there and get beat up and not fight back and ball up like a little bitch, then your people don't want nothing to do with you, and somebody's going to be looking to extort you, whatever race it is. So there's a lot that goes into doing that quota check, and that basically starts off your name in the prison system. So, you know, after that, I was all hyped up, ready to go. Like, I'm still ready to go. You know, I'm hyped up, adrenaline rushing, heart beating. Like, I'm like, oh, damn, like, I'm excited. But everybody's like, nah, you're good now. Just chill, you know, like, just relax. So I do. And one thing I want to say is don't go, if you're going to go to prison, if you're absolutely stupid enough to go to prison like I was, do not listen to the people that tell you to go in there, find the biggest person, and go off on them. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard, and it's going to get you hurt. It's going to get you really hurt, because if you go and you pick the biggest dude, and he's part of some kind of gang, and you're not with anything, but you're fixing to get smashed on. It ain't going to be 1 or 2 people either. They're going to do you in and get you up out of there. Be lucky if you don't get poked up. Don't do that. Don't listen to any of the crazy crap that people tell you. That's what we make videos for. All the people who do prison genre and all that, that's what we make videos for. Because if you're going to be stupid enough like we were, then at least you have an idea of what to expect. So, you know, that day, not only was I there for the first time, you know, all hyped up, got my quota check, and I'm like, it's a lot. Like, it may not seem like a lot to you, but like you've been on edge already for months, knowing any day you could catch chain to go to prison. And then you get there and everything's unknown. And then you do your quota check. You're surrounded by all these new people. You have this image to hold up in front of everybody. So, you're going through a lot. But the thing that I was stupid enough to do was listen to those guys and say, oh man, don't let nobody punk you out. I mean, that's true. Don't let nobody punk you out. But they told me the guards, nobody. Like, don't let the guards tell you this. Don't let the guards tell you that. You got to handle your business. And me, I was stupid enough to listen to that. So later on that night, I had taken a shower. I get out and I go throw my stuff on my bunk. And I hang my towel over the end. Like, they got these little bars where your feet go that you can hang your towel over it. This guard comes in and everybody's like, oh man, watch out, the police. Just start whistling, going, all that crap. So you know that there's a cop in there. So whatever you're doing, finish it and stop. So that way you don't get caught. You don't get caught up and get a case, whatever. I didn't pay attention. I had already had it in my mind that nobody was going to tell me anything. Nobody was going to do anything to me. And I was going to fight to the damn death if I had to. That's the mentality that I forced inside my head the entire time I was waiting in county. I was just like, you know what? Just get ready. It is what it is. You're not going to look like a bitch, though. So the guard comes around, and hanging your towel over the foot of your bunk is not allowed. You could get a case for that. I forgot what they called it, contraband, so it was something stupid. So literally what they expect you to do is take a shower, dry off, fold your towel up, and put it in your locker. Nobody's going to do that. Nobody. So this guard comes around. He starts snatching people's towels who got him hung up. That's a case. That's a case. Yeah, every time he snatches a towel, he points at the person, tell him that's a case. So I'm waiting for this guard to get to me. He comes around, gets closer to my bunk, and I see his hand go out to snatch the towel. And when he does that, I grab it at the same time. And now we're playing kind of like a tug of war. He looks at me and he was like, let it go now. I was like, fuck you. He was like, I should let it go. So what I did was, as I was pulling it and he was pulling it, since he was trying to make it go his way, I went forward so that way his hand would go all the way back, and I threw it right in his face. He got pissed off. He was like, that's a case, you ain't gonna do nothing, you're a bitch. Like, he started talking shit, right? As soon as I heard the word bitch, that's one of the first words that you learn that you don't let anybody call you. I heard that. I jumped down off the top bunk. I wound back and smacked the living shit out of him. He runs toward the door, pulls his radio out, starts calling for backup, right? So I'm hyped up now. Like, ain't nobody gonna tell me nothing. Like, I'm hyped. I see about him and maybe 4 or 5 guards looking like they're ready to come into the dorm. And as hype as I was, when I saw 5 to 6 guards coming in for me, I was like, oh damn. Got nervous real quick. I didn't really know it at the time. I had heard rumors. But now I know for a fact, them guards are dirty. They'll hurt you. They will do you bad. But I didn't really know that at the time. But they didn't do anything to me. The sergeant came in, told me to turn around and cuff up, which I did. I didn't want no problems with 6 different people at that time. I was like, nah, I'm good. Turned around, cuffed up, and he starts taking me out. Well, the guy that I slapped was standing at the guard booth. And when I walked by, he picked up a bunch of old clothes that were on the floor, I guess stuff that they had confiscated, and he throws it right in my face. The sergeant looks at him and shakes his head like, you idiot. He saved me by doing that because I was about to get an assault on an officer case, which they could have given me more time because I slapped the dog hell out of him. Like, it wasn't a little slap. Like, I probably slapped the taste out of his mouth. I wound up and wham! But now that he hit me back, I had something against him. So you assaulted me, I assaulted you, so what's up? Well, what ended up happening was I didn't get a case. I didn't get no commissary restriction, nothing. All they did was they moved me next door to Garza West. So I stayed locked up, I think, for about a week. And then they shipped me right next door. And yeah, that was that. It was a wild first day. And then what was even more wild, the very next time that I was in a dorm, like I had just got out of lockup getting to Garza West, and I was like, okay, let's try this again. They put me in a dorm, I get my bunk, everything's all cool. And there was another thing that happened, and it's crazy because there's always so many things going on in prison. It blows your mind. Like, you think you're gonna be bored. I mean, you're gonna be bored, but you're not gonna be bored all the time. There's always people doing stupid shit all day, every day, that's gonna keep you entertained. And you start getting into that mentality where you're expecting to see something. If you don't see it, you want to start it. Like, if you get bored, you want something to go on. People actually love getting into race riots or smashing somebody out for the littlest thing, or extorting somebody and beating them up, slapping around if they didn't do what you wanted them to do. That's just the way it was, right? So that very first day that I got to Garza West, there was a guy, probably had the same mentality that I did. I don't know if he was like brand new there or not. He gets into it with a guard. As he's standing there arguing with this guard, another guard comes in because he saw them arguing. So they both rush this guy, grab him, start trying to force his arms behind his back so they could cuff him up and get him out of there. He turns around and starts wrestling with one of the guards while the other guard's still trying to pull him. I didn't see when it happened, but I heard when it happened. This dude somehow got the guard's finger in his mouth and bit down on it. And this guard screamed bloody murder. Like, he was screaming. The kind of scream where you're like, damn, I know that hurts. And we didn't know it that day, but after they smacked this dude around a little bit, got him into cuffs and took him to lockup, it was like maybe a couple hours later, somebody was talking to one of the sergeants that was coming in to do his rounds, and they were like, hey man, what happened to old boy? And he was like, oh man, that guy's gonna get fresh charges. We're like, what? For what? For biting the guard or what? And it was like, no, not only did he bite that guard, he took that guard's finger off from like the digit. Like this part right here, he bit the tip of that off. Like clean off. And when I heard that, I was like, man, I knew that scream was crazy, right? You're not going to scream like that unless something's really happening to you. That damn guard's finger came off. And as a matter of fact, that guard never came back. I never saw him again. I heard that he quit, but that was just a rumor. I don't know 100%, but I heard that he quit. He was done. Like, how would you feel if you're a guard just trying to do your job and you're just trying to make money for your family or money for yourself so that way you can live? You know, people got to work. And then all of a sudden some asshole comes and bites your finger off, and now your hand ain't never the same. Like, it may not seem like a big deal, but that piece of finger is probably going to affect him in all different types of stuff that nobody would ever realize until they're in that situation. And I didn't think of it that way back then. I hated the guards. Automatically 100% hated every single guard because they were in control of me. And I don't like people being in control of me, which is why I never got in a gang. I never did it because I didn't want to answer to anybody. I didn't want to have to do things behind somebody else's actions or have others get in trouble behind my actions. I'm my own man. If I do it, I should pay for it. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't see the point in getting in a gang. And you really don't even have to. As long as you're a solid dude, even if you're solo, your people are still going to have your back. Like, unless you go and you mess with a gang and you're a troublemaker, then they don't give a shit about you. They're going to let you get jumped, smashed out, all that. And then they're going to let people bring your house down. But if you're a solid dude, you don't go messing with people and it's just some random black dude or white dude or some random Mexican dude and, they start shit with you. They're not going to let you get jumped. Like, you still got to be a man. You got to do your own fights. You got to fight one-on-one. You got to take care of your business. But there was a couple of times, and I'll tell these stories later on down the road, where I got into it with black and white dudes. And they thought they were going to jump me, and my people were like, nah, if anybody else jumps in, we're smashing all y'all out of here. And that was that. I got my one-on-one fight. I didn't have to worry about getting jumped. So, prison sucks. It's trash. You don't want to be there. You don't want to go through it. You're alone. Like, you have all these people around you, but you're never going to feel more alone in those moments than in any moment in your life. You sit there day in and day out and think about your family. If you have a girlfriend or a wife, you'll think about them. If you have kids, you'll think about them. You'll be wondering, what are they doing? Like, do they still love me? Are they going to stay down with me until I get out? Am I even going to have a family when I get out? And I remember I used to sit there, and I've always grown up by water. Beaches, rivers, all that, right? And I used to think about home so hard that I swear on everything that I love that I can smell the ocean. I can smell the sand, the water. It was so real, and it would trip me out, and it would snap me out of that thought process. And here I am with all these young guards trying to tell me what to do, and they weigh 100 pounds, and I didn't like them. I didn't realize at that time that they were just trying to do their job, just trying to make money, just trying to live life. I was there because I put myself there. They didn't have nothing to do with that. They just happened to work there, and their job was to make sure I didn't do anything stupid. So you don't have any control over anything. You can't eat when you want to eat. You don't decide what you get to eat. You're never alone, no matter what you're doing. You don't have any family. You don't have any freedom. You can't go to the store. You can't go out on a Friday night or Saturday night. You can't go to a football game, baseball game, anything. You can't do nothing. You sit there all day with no air conditioning, 110-degree heat in those buildings that are just a big glorified tin can. And you sweat. You feel the sweat just dripping down your body. Guards come in who are probably having problems at home, and they take it out on you by being assholes. And you'll get cases for no reason, or you'll get cases because you deserve a case. Now you can't go to commissary, so the little privileges you did have, those are gone. You're always around a bunch of violence. You're around other men. You can't even be around a female. You can't even smell another female. And for all them dudes out there that like to be playboys and messing around with all these chicks, feeling intimate with a woman, that's what men want. That's what men like. You can't do that no more. And it sucks. Why anybody would want to mess up and go to prison after there's all these people telling you on YouTube not to do it, I have no idea. Some people feel like it makes them look tough. It gives them some kind of credentials. I don't know what it is. You don't get any credentials. You're not tough because you go to prison. You're just stupid. You're naive. You gain nothing from doing that. All you do is lose time in your life that you can never get back. And being in that situation where there's nothing but violence all the time, you get institutionalized. You don't want people walking behind you. You can feel when somebody's behind you. You ain't even got to hear or see them anymore. You always feel that tension, that that nervousness, that adrenaline pump, because there's always something going down, somebody getting stabbed, somebody getting beat up, people getting done dirty in all different kinds of ways. You get institutionalized. That becomes such a huge part of you that you don't know any other way to act. The person you were when you went in, that person's gone. You're now a new person living in a whole nother world that never existed until you got in trouble. Once you get out, if you're like me, you try your hardest to change those ways, not be institutionalized, but there's just some stuff that's so hard to let go after doing it for 10 years. It's not the way you want to live. So for all them dudes out there getting in trouble, running with gangs, be smart. Listen. Quit doing what you're doing. My grandpa and everybody used to tell me this when I was growing up, and I never listened because I thought I knew it all. I didn't know shit. Be smarter than a lot of us were, and listen to what we tell you. Life is way more precious than to think something makes you look cool so you lose 10 years of your life. It's not cool. You're gonna be stuck in a place where you gotta smack guards around and possibly get more time, or hell, don't even be a damn guard unless you want to get your fingers bitten off. Just a whole bunch of different things, man. Like, it's not worth it. So I know a lot of you out there like prison style videos, and I know there's people who subscribe to my channel who like the other stories I was telling, where I talked about old crime cases or a serial killer or something like that. I would very much appreciate and like if y'all could get down in those comments and let me know what y'all like better. Do you like me to mix it up and do both? Or do you like one over the other? What do you want to know about prison? There's so many people out there fascinated with prison for some reason. Let me know what you want to hear. I did 10 years, so I've seen and done a lot. Not all, but I've done a lot and I've seen a lot. I got so many stories I can tell you. I already got it written down, and it's 6 pages worth, front and back, full of all the stuff that I wrote as a note just to remind me. So let me know. Thank you for coming back to watch my video. Thank you for being patient with me not making a video for a little bit. I am better. Videos will start coming out hopefully every day, if not every other day. And to all the ones out there who are just seeing me for the first time, I really appreciate it. I just want to say, regardless, to everybody, enjoy your life. Realize how blessed you are. Thank you for showing me love. Hit that like and subscribe button. And until next time, stay tuned.